Sustainable is the ability to maintain at certain rate or level. And principle of sustainability is attaining sustainability does not mean the eradication of adverse impact, which is an impossible vision at present, but rather the reduction of it to a certain reasonable level. That is sustainability. So, what is a sustainable development? When we say sustainable development, actually, there are three P: profit, planet, and people. That is sustainable development, which is connected to planet is the environment, people is the society, and profit is the economy. Sustainable development, physiology called sustainable development was introduced actually in 1987 in Brundtland Report, also known as World Commission on Environment and Development, WCED, the Brundtland Report. So it's actually to maintaining a delicate balance between the human need, the 3P, the human need to improve lifestyles and feeling of well-being on one hand, and at the other hand, preserving natural resources and ecosystem. So balance between these two, the human needs and also natural resources, which actually depend on we for the future generation. Creating and operating a healthy built environment based on resource efficiency and ecological design. And according to Ronald Rovers, the balanced use of resource on global scale, including physical elements, human elements, and national political context, and also defined as the development which meets the needs of present without compromising the ability of future generation to meet their own need. So actually we're sharing everything for the future also. So the principle of sustainable development, we have 5, which is living within environmental limits, achieving sustainable economy, promoting good governance, using sound science responsibly, and ensuring a strong, healthy, and just society. So this is the principle of sustainable development. So in economy, environmental, society, and culture, we have actually this for living with the environmental limits and also to ensure a strong, healthy, and just society. So these must have sustainable economy and using science responsibly and also promoting good governance to have this both living within environmental limits, which actually for the resources and also biodiversity for the future, and also meeting the diverse needs of all people in existing and future communities, promoting personal well-being, social inclusion, equity, opportunity. So we need actually to counter both these 4 elements. This is actually the sustainability development before the 3 components. Before this, we only have the 3 components, which is the healthy environment, social justice, economic growth, and in the middle is sustainable society. Okay, and then we also generate a new sustainable development where we put also together the sustainable natural and built environment, sustainable economic development, and equitable social environment. So these combined with the environmental, society, and economic will have a great future sustainable development. Principle of sustainable development. First, you can see here, no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being. This is the global goals for the sustainable development. Quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth, industry, innovation and infrastructure, reduce inequalities, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and production, climate action, life below water, life on land, peace and justice, strong institutions, partnership for the goals. Means that all is same and we having a very peace world. Okay, so which of the following, if you see these 17 principles, which of the following sustainable development goals can be interpreted within construction industry? Okay, I give one example. For example, number 3, good health. So we need to develop a sustainable residential estate, for example. Means we have place for us to do our sports, riadah ke. Okay, zero hunger. What is the example of zero hunger? Means that everyone have food. Semua orang ada makanan. Because currently in the world, certain country have this hunger. Betul tak? Starvation, kelaparan. Tak cukup makanan. But at certain country, we have so many food. Okay, next, the concept of sustainability development. We have economic sustainability, environmental sustainability, and social sustainability. So in economic sustainability, we have various strategies that make it possible to use available resources to their best advantage. And in environmental sustainability, in reducing the amount of waste produced or using less energy, but is concerned with developing process that will lead to business becoming completely sustainable in the future. And lastly, the social sustainability encompasses human right, labor right, and corporate governance. So why we need this? Is to alter or improve our conventional way of development into a more responsible approach, which can satisfy our needs for development without harming the world we live in. So that is why this is very important. For example, in climate change, the long-term climate change have been observed across the globe. So you can see before this, our normal temperature is about 25 to 30. But nowadays, 30 to 40 is normal, right? Sometimes when the climate is very hot, it will reaching up to 30, 38. Macam tu kan, panas sangat. You can see changes are happening as a result of human activity, including man-made greenhouse gas emission. Kalau dulu saya, waktu zaman-zaman dulu kita orang main dekat luar, macam cerita Upin Ipin tu, memang itu gaya hidup kami waktu kecil-kecil dulu, main dekat luar dan sebagainya. Sekarang nak main kat luar panas, kan? Actually prefer to stay inside the house. Duduk dalam rumah, on aircon sebab kat luar panas sangat. So this actually because of the not having sustainable development. Kita tak ada sustainable development. Jadi kita menyebabkan banyak perkara yang berlaku menyebabkan it's actually from us, from the human activities. See, so many transportation. Bila ada transportation, we release so many toxic gas, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, and then kebakaran, flaming. And then we have this, look at this, the factories releasing all the gases. So we have this pollution, air pollution. And then deforesting, habis dah hutan semua kita dah tarah. Dah tak ada hutan lagi, dah tak ada kawasan tadahan air. What we did, we actually developed this concrete forest. We cut down all our trees and we developed this concrete forest, which actually give the impact to the environment. And this happened, landslide, pollution, river pollution, semua ni berpunca daripada kita, human activities. And can you imagine in Indonesia, Myanmar, the kids actually living with this polluted river. Kalau dekat Indonesia selamba je benang-benang. Tengok tak gambar, dekat student saya buat PSM on the waste management. Dia ambil gambar budak-budak kecil berenang-renang main air sungai, tapi air sungai dia macam ni. So we don't want this to happen because we want the future also experience the same as us. Contohnya, if you have a clear river, clean beach, so we also want the future generation, the next generation also experience the same thing. Not living in the rubbish like this. Ni macam duduk dalam hutan sampah. So the objective of concept of sustainability development, memang kita punya objective of course containing these three elements, which is the economy, social and environment, is to consider life cycle costs, which is to reduce the energy required for transforming goods and supplying services, to enhance participatory approaches by involving stakeholders, to consider alternative financing mechanism, to consider the impact of planned project on air, soil, water, flora and fauna. Bukannya bila kita buat construction tu just for the benefits for the human being, but we do not care the environmental impact. Okay, kita nak yang kita je seronok. Okay, kita ada taman tema contohnya, tapi we actually forgot the environment and how it will give impact for us in the future. Okay, to support the instruments of international conventions and agreements, to promote the development of appropriate institutions and frameworks, to consider the influence of existing social frameworks, and also to develop appropriate economic instruments. This is very important. For example, macam sekarang macam mana kita punya ekonomi? Okay, in terms of education, how do you feel? For your information dulu, orang yang umur 70 lah yang dah pencen dulu, they all have scholarship. Semua scholarship, belajar semua free. And then at my age, we have this loan, pemboleh ubah pinjaman. So if you got good results, then you need to pay only a few percentage. But now in this current generation, you have full loan with percent interest, 4% at the end. So means that we do not have sustainability in economy, where the burden of the economy will be suppressing the future generation. Bila even though sekarang ni pun bila awak keluar, you graduated, but you very difficult to get job, right? And the salary also is not as expectation. Keluar berita pasal gaji engineer. You all is a future engineer. Memang pun gaji engineer in Malaysia, kita tak di-revise almost 10 years, more than 10 years actually. Zaman saya dulu pun gaji dah 1,000 bila keluar gaji dalam 1,000 lebih. Sekarang pun macam tu juga kan. So means that we still do not have this sustainability development in terms of economy, social and environment. Bila kita ada sustainability development means that everything at the optimum level, at the peace level, semuanya bagus. Maksudnya environment kita bagus, social kita bagus, ekonomi pun bagus. But to achieve that, of course, there are so many things that need to be done. This is list of objective yang kita nak capai lah. To have development, appropriate economic instruments to promote sustainable consumption, to increase material efficiency by reducing the material demand of non-renewable goods, to assess impact on health and quality of life, to reduce materials intensity via substitution technologies, consider the economic impact on local structure, enhance materials recyclability, reduce and control the use of depletion of toxic materials, to maximize the sustainable use of biological and renewable resources, internal external costs, and also to promote the public participant. And since nowadays lagilah kita baru je lepas actually battling with the pandemic COVID-19. Pandemic ke endemic dah kita ni? Kita dah sampai stage mana dah sekarang ni?
Endemic.
Kita going to So this actually objective ni kita actually is in these three elements, which is in economy, social and environment. So we actually moving to the endemic of COVID-19. Hopefully later on we will have this sustainable development. Kena banyak sabarlah. Okay. So sustainable construction. So sustainable development besar. Sustainable development besar. Dia punya scope very big, which is including the economy, social and environment. And sustainable construction is inside the sustainable development. Nampak tak? Sustainable construction ni dalam sustainable development. It's a subset to the philosophy of sustainable development. So kita ada sustainable development, bawah dia sustainable construction. Yelah macam mana kita nak buat development, of course kena ada construction. So construction also have the sustainable construction. So sustainable construction, which has been dubbed as green construction, and the term sustainable construction was originally proposed to describe the responsibility to the construction industry in maintaining sustainability. So according to Kibet, they proposed that sustainable construction means creating a healthy built environment using resource efficient, ecological based principle. So that is sustainable construction proposed by Kibet. So what is sustainable construction? Of course, it still is under social, economic and environment element. So in order to respond to sustainable development, every construction project should guide by the principle of sustainable development, which comprise of these three pillars. It is expected to be financial worth over the long-term project investment in terms of economic, long-term project financial scale, and also from social aspect, it would be provide long-term service to satisfy public needs. Means that kalau boleh kita punya construction tu boleh lasting forever lah. Bila kita buat satu construction tu boleh lasting forever and provide a long-term service for the social. And for the environment, even though it requires massive resources, it would be not sacrifice the health of environment. Okay, so this is what we want for the sustainable construction, which is the responsible for you as a future engineer. Jadi macam kita kata apa-apa construction yang kita buat tu tidak memberi negative impact. Tak ada yang akan beri toxic kepada environment. So the construction issues is uncontrolled waste management, depletion of natural construction materials, accidents and death, disease outbreak, unpaid debt and illegal labour. This is the issues happen. Sebab bila kita tak ada sustainable, remember our chapter 1, the waste should be go back to nature and we use again the waste as a source for our production project. Ingat tak? Sepatutnya macam tu. But it's very difficult to control the waste. For example, dekat site sendiri, banyak sangat construction waste. Even sometimes the contractor, dia tak nak buang pun, dia tak nak buang dia punya waste ni. What they did is they do the illegal dumping. Previously, about how many years ago, actually we did research on the illegal dumping on the construction waste dekat sini saja, dekat Air Hitam, Keluang and also Batu Pahat. We had actually about 200 cases. illegal dumping for construction waste. Macam mana kita nak go to sustainable construction? Kalau waste kita sendiri pun bukan kita tak dapat manage, but we throw away illegally. Secondly, the depletion of natural construction materials. Okay, sekarang ni lagi lah. Siapa yang involved dengan construction, sekarang ni harga for the construction materials increasing daily. Naik hari-hari harga. Mahal sangat. So how we want to stable this? Yang ni sekarang ni mungkin because of the COVID-19. Mungkin sebab COVID-19. Because our construction closed for about 2 years kan. Lebih kurang 2 tahun. Sejak daripada 2020 construction kita slow down. So bila kita nak buka balik, so banyak barang yang the increasing of the demand of the construction materials actually leads to increasing of the cost of the materials. And then accidents and death in construction. So this is one of the issues also. Ingat tak dulu yang crane dekat Mekah terbalik tu? It's actually still happen in Malaysia. Sekarang ni kita tak nampak sangat sebab construction kita tutup. Sebelum yang COVID tu pun ada dekat Selangor ke KL yang bangunan apartmen yang lantai dulu runtuh tu. So we need to do something to actually solve the problem. And disease outbreak, contoh macam ni lah COVID-19. Bila disease outbreak, dia merebak menyebabkan kita tak boleh control and we need to stop the construction. So how we want to tackle this so that we have sustainable construction? And unpaid debt. Due to this unpaid debt, we have so many overhanging constructions yang terbengkalai, tak settle. And also we have also issues in illegal labour. Why we have these issues? Padahal Malaysia ramai yang menganggur kan? Ramai menganggur, but I don't know why not many Malaysians, young generations love to want to work as a labour. Kerja dia ni susah kot. Apa macam tu, for 3D, dirty, difficult and dangerous. Jadi orang tak nak buat, Malaysian tak nak buat. So we need to hire foreigner, and then daripada situlah jadinya ada illegal labour. So we need to control the construction activities, okay, to have the sustainable construction before construction, which is we can control through materials. Okay, materials that we need to use. So we need actually to consider in certain project, for example, what is the suitable materials that can be used at a certain place, location. Okay, tempat tu, contohnya dekat tempat tu banyak apa. Okay, so for example in Malaysia, kenapa KLCC kita buat kita pakai konkrit semua? Kita tak pakai steel because of the material. In Malaysia we have many concretes, kita ada banyak pasir, simen, so kita cost lebih murah compare kalau kita nak buat steel. Okay, so the material is very important. And during the construction, energy consumption, sumber kuasa. Okay, contohnya macam mana kita nak gunakan, pakai minyak ke, pakai solar ke. So we need to actually consider that. And we need to have this optimum of energy consumption. Maksudnya tidak perlu membazir energy itu, elektrik dan sebagainya. And during construction, we can control the pollution because of course bila kita buat construction, dia punya pollution bukannya air pollution sahaja, noise pollution, but also environment. Kita ada banyak contohnya menyebabkan flooding, landslide kan. Jadi itu sebenarnya juga impact to the environment during the construction. And what happened after the construction? We have so many construction waste. So in achieving sustainable construction, we actually need to have this cradle to cradle concept, which actually from the resources, at the end we got this right waste, but this waste need to be processed or need to be need to be done. Something need to be done so that this waste can become material, resources for the construction. Barulah dia ada cycle. So before construction, we need to utilize resources for the production. For example, the fossil, the wood, cement, hydrogen, air, water, and also transportation for the fuel. Okay, and during construction, during the clearing the forest and land development, we need to control the pollution, air, water, land, and also high solid waste generation. And after construction, the contribution of the project to the high energy usage, high CO2 emissions, large water usage, large solid waste generation. Actually, 40% building for responsible, 40% is responsible for the world global greenhouse emission. 40% from the buildings. And another 40% is for the solid waste generation globally. 12% for the water. And we have 5 times pollutant than outdoor air in terms of air quality. And we actually had used 1/3 of the world resources. Can you imagine? 1/3. So we only have 2/3 for the next generation. Kita dah guna 1/3 dah ni, kita punya resources. So that's why we need to actually think how we want to renew our world resources. Okay. So it's require a willingness to explore new territory in construction approach and prepare to adopt new products, ideas and practice. So the practice is start from us. Practice tu start daripada individu, ourselves. Okay, bukannya kita maksudnya bila kita kata okay, of course construction, sustainable construction is construction itulah, but we ourselves need to starting from the individu. This is the direction of construction industry and how it's shifting from the development with environmental concern as a small part of the process into having the development process being integrated within the wider contract of environmental agenda. So we have this first, before this, we just focus on the construction itself. We do not actually care on the environmental protection. But now we move on to give more protection on the environment at the same time during the construction development. So before this, only small portion environmental protection dia kita sikit je. But we can, now it become bigger, but now environmental protection is number 1, construction development is number 2. Dulu kita punya construction dulu, kita punya aim kita settle construction, environment nanti fikir. Mana yang pollution dan sebagainya, fikir belakang. Lain kali kita fikir macam mana nak solve problem. But now, environment first. So in line with the Sustainable Development Goals set up by the United Nations, we have this World Green Building Council established to promote sustainability in building industry. We have this in good health and well-being, we have green building that can improve people's health and well-being. And we have this green building that can use renewable energy, becoming cheaper to run. Building green infrastructure create jobs and boost to economy. And green building design can spur innovation and contribute to climate resilience and infrastructure. And the fabric of sustainable communities and cities. Also, green building use circular principles where resources aren't waste. Ini yang saya cakap tadi. We do not have any waste that we cradle to cradle. We put it back in the cycle. So dia pusing balik je. Okay. Green building produce fewer emissions, helping to combat climate change. sikit je emission yang keluar. And green building can improve biodiversity, save water resources, and help to protect forests. And through building green, we create strong global partnership. Construction Industry Transformation Program through actually officially launched by the CIDB as a strategic enabler to transform the Malaysian construction industry to be more quality conscious, okay? Quality conscious, ecologically responsible, productive, and global competitive, okay? So CITP acknowledge the importance of sustainable to Malaysian national development, and thus several initiatives have been established to actually drive this sustainability. So we have these 4 strategy under CITP, which is the quality, safety and professionalism, environmental sustainability, productivity and internationalization. Okay, so CITP transformation initiates towards sustainable environment, which is to drive innovation in sustainable construction, to drive compliance to environmental sustainable rating and requirements, focus on public project to lead the charge on sustainable practice, facilitate industry adoption of sustainable practice, and also to reduce irresponsible waste during construction. So this is actually sustainable development versus sustainable construction. So development as a center, as a whole, construction focus on the construction itself. Okay, so development putting people at the center, but construction concern for people by ensuring their life in healthy, safe and productive built environment and harmony with nature. Sustainable development taking a long-term perspective, but in sustainable construction, it is safeguarding the interests of future generations at the same time, but also meeting the today's needs. Okay, and sustainable development taking account of costs and benefits. Of course, sustainable construction also evaluate the benefits and costs of the project. Sebab dia fokus construction tu so dia fokus project tu. Okay, so you can see sustainable development more as a whole, but sustainable construction focus on the construction itself, but also for the future generation. The concept sustainability in construction must be applied into construction industry to influence the manner in which a project shall be conducted to strike a balance between conserving the environment and maintaining prosperity in the development. So do you remember previously in chapter 1, the concept of sustainable construction is only on the cost, quality and time. Ingat tak? And then kita campur, combine with the economy, with the environmental quality and also social equality. So we have this new concept of sustainability, which is we have this environmental protection, social well-being and also economic prosperity. Okay. So we have all this together in this concept of sustainability in construction. Okay. First, environment. To actually build environment that refers to the activity within the construction project itself, it may not handle effectively, have a serious adverse impact on the environment. So we need to conserve natural resources. Okay. And for the social well-being, for the workers, untuk pekerja-pekerja kita. So the aspect concerned is how do you feel? Security, satisfaction, safety, comfort, and the contribution on human is the skill, health, knowledge, and also motivation. And the third one is on the economic prosperity. Macroeconomic focus on the factors of activities which could lead to monetary gains from the construction, and macroeconomics relates to advantages gained by the public and government from the project success. So we have this both micro and macro. And this is the principle on sustainable construction implementation. We will minimize the resources consumption. We maximize resources, iaitu reuse, use renewable or recyclable resources, protect the natural environment, create a healthy non-toxic environment, apply life cycle costs analysis and true costs, and pursue quality in creating the built environment. Even though we start small, kita start daripada sikit. For example, sekarang ni, what I did, actually, I have this one project where I process the food waste to become organic fertilizer. Nampak macam sikit je, kecil je. Tapi from that, we actually create a healthy chain, food security with having organic vegetables, semua organic, dia tak ada toxic. Okay. So this is something that we can do lah. Kita boleh start dengan benda yang kecil dulu. So based on this keyword principle concept of sustainable construction, kita ada conserve, reuse, renew, or recycle, protect nature, non-toxic, economic and quality in our resources, which is on the energy, water, land, material and ecosystem. Tengok dekat ni dia punya phases in construction. Okay, we have this planning, development, design, use, maintenance and deconstruction phases in construction operations. Okay, so minimize resources which conserve lead us to use passive measures to provide heating, cooling, ventilation, lighting, forces us to consider high efficiency system and durable materials that require low maintenance. Design for energy efficiency, lighting, aircon system, passive solar and daylight features. For example, during daylight, we use nature. Kita guna cahaya matahari. Tak payah on lampu. Okay. So we need to design so that the orientation of the building actually can receive natural daylight. Okay. So we need to select materials and design for durability, reuse construction materials, assemblies, products, include grey water system to reuse water. Contoh macam air yang kita guna untuk siram pokok, kita guna daripada air yang kita dah can be recycled to watering our plant. Okay, bukannya kita ambil air bersih daripada pipe, kan rugi kan. Okay, and maximize resources, which is reuse. Second principle is refers to the desire of reusing resources that we have extracted with minimal reprocessing. I've mentioned previously in chapter 1, reuse means we do not have this process untuk kita buat. Macam recycle, kita go through another process so that we can the material can be transformed into another product so that it can be used. But reuse macam kita guna balik So as we know, all material cost money and all have an impact to the environment. So with green building, we able to minimize the impact of construction, operations and maintenance of structure of the environment. So in recycle refers to the items that we need to have this process so that we can recycle. Macam yang saya cakap tu, the process that I made for the food waste so that it can be transformed, composed into organic fertilizer. That is recycle process because it will go through a certain process and it will transform into another product lain. Okay, itu recycle. And protect nature, environment. This is principle number 4, which concerns on exercising environmental stewardships and restoring the nature where possible. And for the non-toxic, to actually the elimination of toxic in the indoor and exterior built environment. For example, previously we have detected toxic in our paint. Cat kita ni, cat bangunan ni pun ada toxic. So it's not good for health, it's not good for the future. So we actually remove, kita kurangkan toxic tu. Even in our food, sebab tu kita sekarang go to organic. Kita pergi kepada organic because we don't want to consume this chemical toxic, benda-benda yang toxic ni. And applying life cycle cost analysis and true cost in economic, yang ke-6. Actually, by including the life cycle cost as earlier as possible in the project process and embedded this consideration in the development of the project design, it will have positive impact on the level of pollution produced, energy usage, and frequency of maintenance during the occupation of the building. Because we actually had this life cycle in the economics. Kita dah fikir dah, okay, in the future macam mana kita nak jadikan dia satu life cycle tu. Instead of just do the construction and then belum lagi kita duduk bangunan tu dah macam-macam defect. Macam-macam defect, bumbung dah tercabut dan sebagainya. So it's something need to be concerned. Okay, and lastly, the quality which actually can achieve through the excellence in design, workmanship in producing the outcome, planning for the communities at large, management and selection of materials. Okay, so the basic stuff of resources needed for the construction are materials, energy, water, land, and in the spirit of sustainable ecological system. Okay, so we need to actually have this planning for the good quality, and the timeline for the built environment runs from the planning through the deconstruction of building assembly. So we need to actually have planning how we want to have this high quality, but at the same time can have sustainable construction. So this principle construction implements procurement, site environment, material selection, waste prevention, recycling, energy, building and material reuse, health and safety, and indoor environmental quality. So this is the details. Procurement is the specific procurement strategies to ensure sustainable construction requirements are addressed. Site environments, methods yang kita pilih for the environmental impact. Material selection must be friendly building materials as well as harmful and toxic materials should be avoided. Waste prevention, how we want to minimize or maybe how we want to recycle it back. Okay. Energy, how we want to reduce the energy. Building and material use identifies reusable materials and reuse. Kita identify apa yang kita boleh reuse balik, kita guna balik. Okay. And health and safety, how to improve and indoor environmental quality methods to ensure indoor environmental quality measures during construction are managed and executed properly. Tak apalah ni, tak payah buat. Okay, so remember project management dalam chapter 1, we have this construction project management starting from number 1 until number 12 dalam slide yang sebelum ni, which is 12 tu ialah dekat handover facility management. After that, we start with facility management until decommissioning. Okay, so this is actually recommended possible implementation for the sustainable construction. Kita nak semua ni ada sustainabilities. Okay, so the benefit is the concept of green building will actually cost lower compared to conventional method sebab kita save energy. Okay, if that one building runs berapa juta, contoh macam bangunan lama kan, berapa juta cost yang kita perlu how many millions that we need to run the building in terms of the facilities, utilities. Okay, contoh macam bill electric. Okay, electricity, for example, in the UTHM itself, in our faculty, it cost us about 1.3 million electric bill. Bil api je 1.3 juta. But for green building, since we use natural resources, sebab ada setengah bangunan, kita perlu on lampu, betul tak? Dia jadi gelap. Kita tak gunakan, padahal matahari panas terik tu, tapi kita tak gunakan natural resources, kita kena gunakan energy, kita kena guna lampu. So in sustainable construction, sepatutnya we will reduce the cost sebab semua kita guna natural. Kalau perlukan cahaya, kita guna cahaya matahari. Perlukan panas, kita guna panas daripada matahari. Macam tu yang sepatutnya. Sustainable building will contribute positively to better quality of life, work efficiency and health work environment. And also sustainable construction will also enable the construction players to be more responsible to the environmental protection needs without neglecting the social and economic needs in striving for better living. Okay. So in Malaysian perspective, macam mana Malaysian perspective? Contohnya kita dah buat dekat Tanah Rimba at Janda Baik, we have this sustainable construction, and we also have this DDC project, demonstration and documentations for sustainable urban household energy usage, which is launched in 2004 by the Centre of Environment, Technology and Development. We also have Malaysian Energy Centre, PTM, on zero energy office building at Bandar Baru Bangi. Zero energy, boleh pergi melawat dekat situ. Sekarang dah buka, boleh pergi melawat kot. The Planning and National Development Doctrines, DPPS, serve as the foundation for the planning and development of Putrajaya and Cyberjaya. And we also have a total of 32 physical planning guidelines were established by the Town and Country Planning Department, TCPD, to ensure the sustainable development of areas such as coastal areas, islands, open space, housing, retention ponds, solid waste, disposal area, conservations of trees, and for environmental sensitive areas. Because previously in Malaysia, we just cut down the trees. Kita tak ada preservation. Even the 100 years, pokok dah 100 tahun. And kita pun kalau tanam tak sempat. Kan? Tak tahu kita ni hidup 100 tahun ke tak, tanam pokok tu tak sempat nak tengok pun 100 tahun macam mana. So now we have this guidelines for this. how to preserve. So this is example of sustainable construction dekat Tanah Rimba Janda Baik. Hutan kan, kawasan tu hutan dulu. Saya dulu pergi waktu sekolah rendah dekat Janda Baik ni camping. Tapi sekarang kita ada Tanah Rimba. Kita ada sustainable housing project, blends man-made and natural elements. Kita semua pakai nature elements. Existing concept of ecology sensitive community development. Maksudnya kawasan tu kita tak ada, biasanya kalau kita nak buat construction kita tarah je semua, pokok apa semua kan. But here in Janda Baik, we construct inside. Dalam hutan tu, kita ada rumah. Macam tu, kita tak tebang hutan tu. Okay. So, dia jadi satu tempat tourism lah, pelancongan. And also we have this Menara Mesin Niaga Subajaya, dekat Subang Jaya, Sky Gardens that serve as a village. Spiral vertical landscape. Okay. Dia ada shaded window yang pakai solar. Curtain wall glazing on the north and south. Dia ada curtain wall. Jadi dia tak ada dia guna natural ventilated and sunlit toilets, stairways and lift lobbies. Semua pakai cahaya daripada cahaya matahari. Sebab tu dia spiral. Okay. And then kita ada juga Zero Energy Office dekat Bangi. Zero Energy. Semua dia recycle balik. Okay. Ni dekat Putrajaya, lagi satu dekat Low Energy Office also dekat Putrajaya. Okay. And then example of sustainable construction in terms of energy. Okay. It can actually reduce up to 70% for solid waste, 40% for the water uses, 37% for CO2 emission, and 25 to 40% for the green usage. Compare dengan normal building. Sebab kita recycle balik. Air kita semua kita recycle balik. CO2 emission kita kurangkan, water usage kita dapat kurangkan dan kita recycle balik. Solid waste also kita reduce as less as possible, up to 70%. Bayangkan. Kalau dulu semua waste tu kita akan buang, bila kita bangunan tu beroperasi, dia akan jadi banyak waste. Kita akan buang dekat landfill. So that's why our landfill due before time. For example, if we design our landfill for 20 years, 10 tahun kita punya landfill dah kena tutup, dah penuh. And we need go to actually 4 process of pemulihan for the waste. 4 lapis proses dia untuk pemulihan, untuk pulihkan licik dan sebagainya. And we actually Malaysia spend 3 billion, 2 billion ke 3 billion saya dah lupa, per year for our waste management. Bayangkan. Alright, so actually we had finished part 1 in chapter